Hello students, welcome to the second part of the acoustic emission testing. Myself Shankho Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Automobile Engineering Department at Dr. Sudhir Chandra Sood Degree Engineering College under the GIS group. Today we will discuss on the second part of acoustic emission testing, that is on the module number of 8. This is the This topic is taken from the subject of non-destructive testing and the application. This is the 7th semester automobile engineering students syllabus. So before start the today's class, we let's recall something in the previous no classes. In the previous classes, we'll discuss on the basic definition of this acoustic emission testing, its history, Joseph Kaiser effect. Then we'll discuss the basic principle of these techniques, the instrumentation which is used for these techniques, that means the block diagram of these techniques, and after that we'll discuss some empirical relations which is associated with the acoustic emission testing, and then we'll also discuss about the source of this acoustic emission. And today we'll discuss the next parts of this acoustic emission testing. That means we discuss about the various types of acoustic emission response from the ductile and the brittle material, the acoustic wave propagation, its application, advantage and disadvantages. So students, let's start the today's class on second part of this acoustic emission testing. Starting is AE wave propagation. The propagation of wave in solid media is highly complex. The propagation of waves in solid media is highly complex. In an infinity medium, elastic wave propagates as bulk wave into two basic modes: longitudinal wave, that is compression wave, and the transversal, that is a shear wave, each with a characteristic velocity dependent upon the density and the elastic solid of the constant. If a surface or boundary is introduced, if a surface or boundary is introduced, the longitudinal and the transverse wave, the longitudinal and the transverse wave that propagate in the bulk of the material and combine in the region close to the surface. A compression produce the transverse displacement. In accordance with the Poisson's ratio of the material, and the overlap particle motion is neither purely longitudinal or transverse. This type of surface wave is called Rayleigh wave. The characteristic velocity of which is generally slower than either of the bulk wave velocity. In a medium bounded by two surfaces at distance greater than a few centimeter from an AE source, surface wave can couple, the surface wave can couple to produce more complex more complex propagation mode that called plate or the lamp wave. The lamp wave occur in two basic modes. The lamp wave occur two basic modes. First one is symmetric and second one is asymmetric. Symmetric wave, lamp wave, means also known as the extensional and is denoted by S naught, and the asymmetric is also known as the flexural and which is denoted by E naught. Sorry. Higher order mode, the higher order mode can also exist, and this is all, and this higher order node is denoted by A1, S1, etc. The lamp wave behavior is complex and characterized by dispersion. The lamp wave behavior is complex and characterized by the dispersion, which depends on the plate thickness and the wave frequency, For a fixed plate thickness, wave components of the different frequency travel at the different velocity, and a broadband impulse signal separates with increased propagation distance. Dispersion curves based on the solution to Lum's homogeneous equation are used to describe the relationship between velocity and the product of the frequency and on the plate thickness. This is the AE wave propagation. Next is AE signal attenuation. Attenuation is the reduction in AE signal amplitude as a wave propagates, and it is governed by the four principal mechanisms. That is geometric spreading of the wavefront, internal friction, dissipation of wave into adjacent media, and last one is the dispersion of the single component. So student, the attenuation, which is reduction of AE signal amplitude as the wave propagates, which is governed by the four principal mechanisms, that are geometric spreading of the wavefront, internal friction, dissipation of wave into the adjacent media, and dispersion of signal components. In the region close to the source, the dominant attenuation mechanism is geometric spreading of the wavefront. In plate, where wave propagation can be considered two-dimensional, where wave propagation can be considered two-dimensional, the signal amplitude decreases inversely as the square root of the propagation distance. The signal amplitude decreases inversely as the square root of the propagation distance. This can give rise to relatively high attenuation level over the first few centimeters of the propagation. Further away from the source means far field, where the majority of structural AE monitoring measurements are made. the attenuation becomes dominant by the absorption, which usually has an exponential relationship with the distance. The dissipation attenuation can be caused by material inhomogeneities in the propagation medium, which scatter off sound wave. However, it is the most prevalent in specimen in contact with one adjacent liquid, example a pipe or a pressure vessel. The attenuation due to the velocity dispersion is caused because the different frequency components of the broadband lamp wave travel at different velocity, and the result spreading in time causes a loss in amplitude. The magnitude of amplitude loss depends on the slope. Loss depends on the slope of the dispersion curve. And the bandwidth of the signal. Next one is AE, source location. There are many ways of deducting the location of acoustic activity from the electrical output of AE sensor. Source location technique may be classified. The source location techniques may be classified by the type of AE source mechanism, that is continuous or the discrete, and include amplitude measurement, techniques such as zone and attenuation measurement methods. The timing techniques such as cross correlation, coherence, and time of arrival approaches. The time of arrival or TOA approaches. TOA source location techniques, TOA or time of arrival source location techniques are well developed and readily implemented in commercially available AE analysis software. Routine for this is 1, 2 or the 3 dimension. The location is calculated by measuring the time delay between a number of sensors. Many source location applications are concerned with one-dimensional source location, where a single position along a measurement axis, is sufficient to define the location of the source. This typically occurs if the dimension of the specimen along its secondary axis are negligible in comparison with that of the principal axis. Most application of the AE source location are concerned with the locating a source in an essentially two-dimensional cell type structure. However, if the thickness of the specimen is significant relative to the other two dimension, or if the area of interest is internal to the specimen, then three-dimensional source location is required. The source location solution in three-dimensional is more complex than in the two-dimensional case. In general, n transducer will yield n1 arrival delay measurement and the coordinates. Thus, the minimum number of transducers required. Minimum number of transducers required for the linear location is 2 or 3 for planar location and 3 for the planar location and 4 for the CD location. Next is these two main source of error associated with TOA technique. The two main source of error associated with TOA techniques are premature triggering of the timing measurement by a low amplitude, which is extensionally precursor, and dispersion of the flexural mode component. Dispersion effects can cause arrival timing to the triggered on different phase point of the signal at different sensor, while attenuation of the higher frequency component can cause erroneous timing, since the lower frequency travel at the lower velocity. These particular effects can combine to introduce considerably inaccuracy into source location calculation. In large area or zonal source location procedures, the effect may be relatively insufficient. However, in local monitoring or spatial filtering application, which may require more accurate source location information, for example, on a crack tip AE movement, the degree of error can become unacceptable. A new techniques of AE source location. A new techniques for AE source location is currently under development using the model analysis techniques. This method exploits the fact that for a fixed plate thickness, different frequency components of Lamb wave travel at different velocity. If the wave is detected in an appropriate manner by a suitably broadband transducer, separation of the different frequency components, which can be achieved by hand pass filtering and the respective arrival times measured. The delay between the arrival of the two components, which travel at different velocity, which is used to calculate the source to sensor distance. which can calculate the source to sensor distance. Next one is AE response from the ductile and the brittle material. The acoustic emission response of a brittle material widely differs from that of a ductile material. The acoustic emissions from brittle material appear in less frequency bursts of higher amplitude than those emitted by a ductile material. The plot showing cumulative counts. The plot showing the cumulative counts as function of loading for the ductile material, which would show a smooth build up of counts with increasing load. However, the same for brittle materials would show quiet periods followed by the sudden spurt of emission activity, followed by again quiet period, and so on. As against the smooth curve for ductile material, we obtain step like plot for the brittle material. During the fatigue loading of FRP or fiber dense force particle composition, a good correlation is exhibited in between the amount of specimen damage and the total acoustic emission. So in general, fiber breakage causes emission of greater magnitude as compared to those generated by either matrix cracking or debonding. However, debonding can sometimes cause relatively large acoustic signal. Next is application. Acoustic emission techniques may be used. The acoustic emission techniques may be used to study physical phenomena such as failure mechanism, including crack initiation, crack propagation, etc., and also for detecting the defects. Hence, this non-destructive testing techniques is slightly different, and hence this non-destructive technique is slightly different from other more conventional NDT techniques. The technique of acoustic emission, the technique of the acoustic emission can successfully to use to locate the source of emission by slightly stressing the component. However, for the exact location of the source, a number of transducers A number of transducer have to be used. A number of transducer have to be used and data thus obtained to be and data thus obtained to be analyzed sometime using online computer. Therefore, the technique of the technique of acoustic emission for floor location can be justified only for relatively large and expensive structures where other conventional NDT techniques cannot be useful employ. The technique has been reported to be in use for testing of large boiler, rocket motor casting, missiles, and spacecraft component, pressure vessel, and especially FRP pressure vessel. For simple components such as the carbon fiber, reinforced plastic, laminated, or for laboratory specimen. The use of acoustic emission technique as a flaw detection tool may not be economically viable. Again, as discussed in the preceding section, acoustic emission response from the brittle material, which is quite different from that obtained from the ductile material. The component which become brittle during their life, they can thus are checked for their embrittlement, and proper heat treatment such as annealing can be provided to restore the component's ductility. This technique of acoustic emission can be used as an incipient failure detection system or IFDS as well, because as the flow grows, emissions are released and can easily be detected. So that acoustic emissions can be used for the monitoring the welding operation, both during the welding operation and also during the cooling period. The force, the forces casting cracking, the forces of casting cracking, and hence emission in this case are thermal stresses. Acoustic emission techniques can be used. The acoustic emission testing techniques can be used for the NDT testing of an adhesive bond as well. Weaker bond produce much more emission at the low stress level, which is compared to the bond. Those surfaces are well prepared. The acoustic emission has been used widely for studying deformation process related to the fiber reinforced plastic composite. It has been used or it has been found that for the crack propagation rate, which is related to the cumulative count. So in generally fiber bracket causes emission of higher magnitude as compared with this generated either by the matrix cracking or debonding. Acoustic emission techniques is also used for the identification and the quantification of so-called latent defects. So-called latent defects. This acoustic emission technique can be used for the monitoring the fiber composite pressure vessel as well. Fiber composite pressure vessel as well. A warning about the damage status, a warning about the damage status of composite pressure vessel is made available in the form of reduced felicity ratio. Reduce the felicity ratio. So student, these are the application of this acoustic emission techniques. Now come to the advantage of these techniques. This is non-destructive, useful for quality assurance or for the safety reasons. It can detect very small flaws, that is 1 micron to 50 micron. Respond only to stress level. It responds only to stress levels which are greater than those which have previously and in many cases safely mentioned. It is essentially non-localized. Means its receiving transducer does not have to be particularly near the source of the emission. It can provide continuous in service monitoring. Now come to the disadvantage of these techniques. Detected signal has a low energy. It requires sophisticated and expensive electronics. Background noise is difficult to separate from the signal. At present, AE is applied to some heavy oil pressure vessel in the nuclear and petroleum refining industry, but is not in general use as an inspection. So class, this is the second part of the acoustic emission testing. So in this, after complete this today's class, you can understand about the wave propagation which is held in A source location. Then we discuss about the A work on brittle or ductile material. Then we will go discuss about this application, and we also learn here about the advantage and disadvantages of these techniques. So students, this is the second part of the acoustic emission techniques. On the next class, students will discuss another topic. So till then, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you so much.